Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In today's video, we are going to discuss about Ram Setu in India and what is its religious, ecological as well as geological significance. In this video, we also will try to explain and understand that what is the project Setu Samudram which keeps on coming in news every now and then, and what is the controversy that is surrounding this particular project. So first of all, the reason why we are discussing this particular issue because recently the Supreme Court of India has given the central government time of 4 weeks in which they have to file a response and where they have to clarify the stand they have on the plea that was submitted by former Rajya Sabha MP Subramaniam Swamy. The main reason of the plea was to seek a national heritage status as far as the Ram Setu structure in the southern India is concerned. Now, we talk about the experts from diverse fields. All of them have a view that despite all this controversy and lack of understanding about the existence and formation of this particular structure, it has a very deep religious, ecological, as well as geological significance. So, we'll try to understand that why it is so. So first of all, let us try to understand the geography of this particular area. So Ram Setu, which is also referred as Rama Bridge or Adams Bridge, is nothing but a chain of natural limestone shoals. Now limestone, we know that it is made up of calcium. It is calcium carbonate basically, and shoals are large rocky pieces that are present in the water bodies, especially in the sea areas, and are generally covered by the coral reefs. Now, if you look at the structure of this Ram Setu here, we can clearly see that it is a kind of connecting link or a connecting bridge between the Pamban Island, which is also called as Rameshwara Island, that is located off the southeastern coast of Tamil Nadu. And on the eastern side, we have this Adams Bridge or Ram Setu connecting the Mannar Island that is located off the northwestern coast of Sri Lanka. If we talk about the overall length of this particular bridge, it extends for a distance of 48 kilometers. And also, if we try to look at this particular map, we can see that on the northern side of this particular bridge, we have Park Bay, while in the southwestern side of this particular bridge, we have Gulf of Mannar. So it is not only acting as a joining link between the Dhanuskodi or Rameshwaram Island, Pamban Island, and Mannar Island. It is also act as a separating body between the Gulf of Mannar in the south and Park Bay in the north. So obviously the question that comes into mind that on which several times there has been controversy that has erupted is whether Ram Setu a man-made structure or a natural structure. So in this particular regard, it was year 2003 when the Space Applications Center situated in the Ahmedabad, which is an arm of Indian Space Research Organization, it clearly has after this analysis of its satellite pictures and data, it clearly has said that Ram Setu is not a man-made structure. Rather, it is 103 a small patch reefs that is lying in a linear pattern, and it has similar structure like coral reefs. That is, it has reef crest, it has sand keys or caves it's called, as well as intermittent deep channels between the various shoals, between the various rocky reef patches that makes up the overall Ram Setu. Thus, what we can conclusively say that Ram Setu is a linear ridge that is made up of coral reefs and form that shallow part of the ocean that is being constantly impacted by the sedimentation process because all the rivers that is carrying out their water in this area they continue to deposit the sediment in this area, and this structure is also affected by the sedimentation process. Now this is about the stand of ISRO. Later on, the Archaeological Survey of India also have actually released a statement where they have agreed with the statement of ISRO, and they also have said that Ram Setu is not a man-made structure, rather it is a geological structure, it is a natural structure as per the research and the study of this particular area. So what is the history of this Ram Setu? So if you go back millions and millions of years ago, during the time of glaciation, when the earth was in the cooling phase, when the water bodies all across the world were converting into ice, and due to this, the water level or the sea level everywhere was going down. Due to this phenomena that extended from 2.6 million years ago to almost 11,007 years ago, the Indian coast and the part of Setu Samudram or Ram Setu, it may have been raised above water. That is the understanding as per the geology of this particular area is concerned. And it is during this time, the platform that has been raised due to the decline of seawater, due to the decline of sea level, may have been used by the migrants to cross the oceans. And the Ramayana, if we talk about the epic, the Hindu epic, it refers to this particular structure as a putative land bridge that is in this region. And the believers of this particular scriptures and believers in the Ramayana, they think and they hold this belief that as a structure, this structure has been constructed or developed by Lord Rama and his army mainly to reach Lanka to attack the Ravana's kingdom. So that is the religious significance, and that we can talk about the viewpoint about Ram Setu from the Ramayana epic point of view. Now, the most important project that is associated with Ram Setu is something that we call as Setu Samudram Ship Channel Project, also referred as SSCP. So, though the history of Setu Samudram project can be traced back to the British time, when the British submitted a proposal, the British engineers have submitted a proposal, and they wanted to create a channel to link the Pak Strait in the north and Gulf of Mannar in the south. However, after long period of time, it was finally year 2005 when the project was inaugurated by the central government, and the main reason behind the inauguration of this project given by the government was to considerably reduce the navigation time between the east and west coast of India. So we try to understand this from geography, from the map. What we can see that this is the western coast of India. On this side, we have the eastern coast of India. So, for example, we can have one port in Kerala, such as Kochi, and other port we can take, for example, in Tamil Nadu, that can be Chennai. So, if we talk about the current route or the current movement of the ships, the current movement of ships happen via this way. That means the ship, if it want to depart from Kochi, it has to go and cross all over Sri Lanka, and then after crossing all the over Sri Lanka, then finally it can reach up to this area. So the advantage that the Setu Samudram project will offer is that after this project is completed, now the ship will not have to cover the entire geographical boundary of Sri Lanka, entire coastal boundary of Sri Lanka, but it can simply cross and traverse over between the Ram Setu structure. So overall, it will reduce the traveling time by 30 hours for the ships that is coming from west to eastern coast of India, and overall it will cause reduction of distance of almost 450 nautical miles. So that is a very long distance. So it will also lead to saving the fuels. It will cause economic benefits to the shipping companies because of the less cost for transportation of goods from the west to eastern coast of India. So that is the main logic and rationale behind the Setu Samudram project. If we talk about the history of this project, so in different years, there has been different route proposal. As we can see from here in 61, the route proposed was like here. And now the most recent agreement about the construction of the shipping route is somewhere that is passing through this area, that is to the south of Dhanushkodi Island. So that is the current structure which will be developed, current shipping route that will be developed as per the current agreement. Overall, if you look at the timeline of development, it was near January of 1999 when the Defense Minister George Fernandez have announced that the Setu Samudram channel will be completed after the dredging work of this particular area is complete. And it was in the June month of 2005 when the UPA government that actually was in power that time, it has inaugurated the project and estimated that it will have a total expenditure of almost 2,427 crore. So there was a lot of controversy, there was a lot of disputes, and also there was opposition regarding the development of this project. However, we talk about in recent times, in the March 16, 2008, Center has finally told the Supreme Court that it would not damage the Ram Setu for the Setu Samudram project. So this is the current status as far as this particular ambitious economic project is concerned. So what were the concerns that has been raised that has led to, we can say, stalling of this particular project? So first of all, if you look at from the environment and biodiversity point of view, the stability of the proposed channel under this particular project has not been clearly established, and also the environmental impact of this particular channel is not properly understood. Not only that, this area is vulnerable to cyclonic storms, and for example, year 1964, a severe cyclonic storm that has hit this area almost has washed away the island of Dhanushkodi, totally destroyed the island of Dhanushkodi. Third, obviously, because for construction of this particular Setu Samudram project, there need to be a large scale dredging of the sediments, large scale dredging of the rocks will have to be done, and the dumping of this dredged material in the nearby sea area will harm both terrestrial as well as marine ecosystem. So these are the concerns from the environment point of view. Not only that, even if suppose this project is completed and if the ship movement is allowed through this particular area, there can also be a cases of air and water pollution, because if the ship is moving through this area, there can be leakages, there can be some kind of dumping, and also due to the continuous emission of the carbon dioxide gases and other pollutants, the water and air of this nearby area will also got polluted. Not only that, we know that if the large scale ship movement, especially the ships carrying oil, crude oil, natural gas, if these are passing through these areas, then we have chances of collision, we have chances of accidents, and that can lead to oil spills, which will be ecological disaster for the biodiverse region of this particular region. And not only that, the opposition was made by the religious groups as well, because as we have discussed, this whole project will cause some sort of damage to the Ram Setu structure, which is a very important structure from the religious point of view. Now, the need for protection arises from the fact that the region around this particular structure, which is also called as Gulf of Mannar, it has been declared as a biosphere reserve. And if you look at the current composition or the current biodiversity of this particular area, almost 36,000 species of flora and fauna are reportedly living and surviving in this particular regions. So obviously, due to this project, the liable, we can say, it will cause severe threat to these particular species of flora and fauna. Similarly, there is also a study which suggests that this area is used as a breeding ground for several marine animals such as fishes, lobsters, shrimps, and crabs. And not only that, due to the movement of the ships and the discharge of the ships, already it will cause severe disaster, because even now there are large number of thermal plants are there, brine runoffs from the salt pan that is happening, and the illegal mining of the corals also are threatening the current or the present status of this Gulf of Mannar Biosphere Reserve. So if we go ahead with this particular Setu Samudra project, it will be kind of a final blow to this marine biodiverse regions. So why we are thinking about this particular area from the geoheritage perspective? So first of all, geoheritage concept is used for conservation and protection of a geoheritage site, and in this regard, geodiversity is taken into account. Geodiversity basically consists of varied landforms and features that represent dynamic natural processes and which can be under threat due to human activities and thus require the protection. As far as the natural heritage of any country is concerned, obviously it also includes geological heritage. So the protection of any geoheritage is akin to protection of the natural heritage of the country. And the value of abiotic factors like geology, soils, landforms is also recognized for their roles in supporting habitats for diversity when any site is accorded geoheritage status. So if we try to understand about the history and look at the brief history of this Ram Setu, we can understand that obviously it is not only relevant or not only important from the ecological and religious point of view, it also has geoheritage importance. Now, why so? So, if we talk about the history of Indian landmass, what experts say that India strikes this with destiny. A famous speech given by the Prime Minister of India, the first Prime Minister of India, Jawaharlal Nehru, it does not begin at the Harappa or did not begin in the Vedic period, but the rise to destiny of India can be traced back to billions of years before, when the Indian tectonic plate, as we can see from this particular diagram, has been continuously, after separating from Gondwana land, after separating from Gondwana land, it has been continuously moving toward the north, and then somewhere around 38 million years ago, it has crossed the equator and finally collided with the Eurasian plate to form the present India, consisting of the plains of India as well as the Himalayan mountain system. So that is why if we talk about the history of India, the Ram Setu has developed somewhere in this time period, and it carries thus the unique geological imprints of the eventful past of the Indian subcontinent. So, taking these into consideration, we can also try to understand the significance of Ram Setu from the geological or geoheritage perspective. So, what we can say in conclusion, that the Ram Setu needs to be preserved not just because it can be or it is a national heritage monument, but also as a geoheritage structure as defined from the scientific perspective. So that is all about this particular issue. I hope you understood about the concept behind Ram Setu and the Setu Samudram project. If you like the video, please hit the like button, share it with your fellow aspirants, and subscribe to our channel for more helpful content. Thank you very much.